His Dark Materials on HBO just started its second season, and the Philip Pullman book turned movie for a split second turned TV show will take you on a magical journey that's sure to pique your imagination while confusing you at the same time.
Confusing.
If you're a longtime reader of the book trilogy that was released in the late 90s, you are likely not looking for clarification on the lore of the HBO series. But if you're like some of us who weren't introduced to this sprawling fantasy world until last year's premiere of the show, then you're in the right place. What the heck is dust? Wait, demons are a good thing. Was that bear wearing armor? What the heck is an alethiometer? Are just a few questions that we plan to answer during our video that you should definitely watch before you watch His Dark Materials. Warning, minor season 1 spoilers ahead. The books. Just like any great content that's on the small or big screen these days, His Dark Materials started out as a book series. Long ago, in the distant 1990s, an author named Philip Pullman read a 17th century poem called Paradise Lost, which inspired him to begin working on his own book epic. The 10-part poem series tells the biblical story of Adam and Eve and the temptation brought onto them by the fallen angel Lucifer. Not the cool suave Lucifer we see on TV though. This guy was a bad dude. Pullman's books are often referred to as a trilogy, but actually span across 6 stories. The original trilogy, and the reading order if you're looking to get into them, consists of Northern Lights, The Subtle Knife, and The Amber Spyglass. But since the last book of the trilogy was published in 2000, he has expanded the series in subsequent novellas and short stories that are positioned as prequels or continue to tell of the adventures of Lyra Belacqua and her demon Pan well into their 20s. With HBO spreading a book over a single season, we likely won't be seeing those stories told until season 4 or 5, if at all. Seeing as this is a video getting you up to speed on all things His Dark Materials, we'll just stick to the first book. In short, His Dark Materials takes place in a world just like ours, but a little bit different. It follows the adventures of an inquisitive young girl named Lyra Belacqua, played by Logan's Daphne Keane, and her uncle, Lord Asriel, played by Professor X himself, James McAvoy. It's the X-Men team-up we never knew we wanted. Throughout the story, Lyra becomes mixed up in a conspiracy about something called dust.
Gentlemen, it is dust.
A conspiracy so deep that even the Magisterium, this world's version of the Vatican, is willing to kill to cover up. After they fail to murder her uncle, Lord Asriel, for investigating dust as an apparent connection to other worlds, she sets off on an adventure to learn the truth and save her best friend Roger. Along the way, she makes friends with a polar bear named Eoric Burnson, aeronaut Lee Scoresby, and a wealth of other intriguing side characters. Yes, you heard that last part correctly. Lyra makes friends with a polar bear. The world of His Dark Materials is filled with mind-bending realities, engaging characters, and believable science that is only achievable due to how well the books and show handle this universe's lore. There is nothing more satisfying than stepping into a world that feels just as real as the one you're watching this video in. The best part about the lore of His Dark Materials is that the show universe and our universe exist at the same time. That's right. While you watch this video on your computer, phone, or tablet, somewhere out there, Lyra Belacqua is trying to discover the truth about dust. While the actual nature of dust hasn't been revealed until season 2, for the purpose of spoilers, we'll keep it a secret until you make that discovery yourself. The basic understanding is that dust is something that can move between worlds, connecting those worlds and existing in between everything we can see. While no one knows what dust is, for some reason, Lyra feels a connection with it and can understand its interactions with things better than most. The way she does this is by using a mechanism called an alethiometer. Not much is known about this contraption, aside from the fact that it can interpret dust to tell those who can read it the truth.
Tells me the truth.
Ask it a question, and it will use a series of images to give you an answer. Something that can take even the highest trained members of the Magisterium months to decipher. But for some reason, Lyra can understand it immediately. The movie. In 2007, New Line Cinema took a gamble on a book series that showed some huge potential to create a franchise down the line. Remember, this was a time before the Marvel Cinematic Universe and all the Fast and Furious movies. In 2007, all we had were 2 pretty good X-Men movies and that one other one. Back then, the only long-running franchises out there were Harry Potter, James Bond, Jurassic Park, and Star Wars. New Line Cinema wanted in on that recurrent movie money. What better way to ensure multiple movies worth of content than to look at a book series for inspiration? The Golden Compass was just that movie. Or at least, they thought it was. The Golden Compass had everything that a now successful movie franchise is built off of. It consisted of a star-studded cast made up of mega hitter names like Nicole Kidman, who you can now see as Queen Atlanta in Aquaman, Daniel Craig from the Bond films, Magneto himself, Sir Ian McKellen, and other cinema greats like Sam Elliott, Eva Green, and Ian McShane. Pair those names with a budget of $180 million, and you should have yourself a box office smash. Unfortunately, the only thing that was smashed were the film's hopes of making a sequel, even despite the fact that the movie drew in a conservative, yet not terrible, $372 million, just managing to double the budget. No, something greater was at play to cause this movie franchise to fizzle out of existence faster than an expired demon. They say that even bad press is good press, but we don't think the people who coined that term ever had an entire faith after them. The Golden Compass was the unfortunate victim of one of the first known cases of internet and public backlash, and it wound up leading to the failure of the hopeful saga. This wasn't the first time that the Magisteria, we mean the church, had tried to cancel a movie because of how it portrayed religion either. In 2004, many religious groups took aim at the Mel Gibson epic The Passion of the Christ, claiming that the film was anti-Semitic and painted the Jewish religion in a negative light. In 2008 and 2009, the Vatican took aim at the Twilight series, and in 2000, there was public backlash against the movie Battlefield Earth because it was based off the 1982 novel by L. Ron Hubbard, which founded the Church of Scientology. Of all the examples, we kind of wish that last one would have stuck. While most of these cases come and go without having a noticeable impact on the film, the Golden Compass's failure can mostly be attributed to this outrage. In 2007, just as the marketing for the Golden Compass began ramping up for the release, the Catholic League for Religious and Civil Rights took aim at the film for pandering atheism for kids, and it even gained the attention of then Fox News broadcaster, and now disgraced horrible human, Bill O'Reilly, for an apparent war on Christmas, whatever that means. The backlash at the time was so loud that even actors from the film began to speak out about it. In an interview with the Evening Standard, Sam Elliott, who played the aeronaut Lee Scoresby, said he knew exactly who was to blame. Our guess is that the church wasn't too jazzed about representing the soul as a shape-shifting animal that could walk and talk beside you. That, and calling it a demon, probably didn't help. But hey, who knows? While it is unfortunate that we never got any sequels to that Golden Compass movie, it may have actually worked out for the best. If it would have gotten the sequel and threequel it had planned, maybe we would have never gotten the HBO show, and then you wouldn't be watching this video. Who knows? Maybe there's an alternate universe out there where all the movies wound up being made. What makes a TV show, book, or movie engaging? Is it the writing, the special effects, the budget? More often than not, it's the characters. The Avengers movies probably wouldn't have done so well if Captain America was an unlikable jerk. The same could be said for his Dark Materials. Lyra Belacqua's brash yet endearing approach to learning about her uncle's, Lord Asriel's research is inspiring. The way she challenges anyone she meets, especially those in authority.
And are you a coward like they are?
And her sheer openness to new experiences, people, and talking bears makes us all remember the way we used to approach life as kids. She's smart yet naive, driven yet shy, and her relationship with her demon Pan reminds us of our unbreakable attachments we had with our childhood best friends. Marissa Coulter is the embodiment of an evil stepmother, or that one teacher we all used to hate. You get an idea of her character right out of the gate and immediately are wary to trust her or her motives. Throughout the show, opinions of her can change. One moment she's a kind, generous person who seems to want to help Lyra, and then the next she's torturing your demon because you didn't obey her orders. If this show had a representation of an old-school Catholic nun, Marissa Coulter would be that nun. While we don't get to see much of Will Perry until the later episodes of Season 1, he is one of the more important characters of the series. What we do know about him is that he's looking for a way to escape our world for reasons still unknown to us. Lord Asriel, James McAvoy, is a charming yet distant father figure for Lyra, whose commitment to his research is something that we can all attribute to anyone who puts all of their lives into their work over their family. And it's not just the humans that bring such depths to the characters of his Dark Materials either. Even though they're animated, the demons of the series can sometimes come off more human than the humans. Pan, like we've already mentioned, is the best friend we all had as kids. The demons of the Magisterium characters play like a devil on the shoulder and often embody the best or worst of the characters they support. While Serafina Pekkala and the witches of his Dark Materials are mysterious and distant for most of the first season, they represent the polar opposite to the Magisterium and leave us constantly wanting to know more. They are the linchpin between the man-made world and nature. They will often make choices that, while aren't the most ethically sound, will make you question whether the means should justify the end. Their abilities to wield magic, fly, heal, and turn themselves invisible probably makes them some of the coolest characters in the show. Well, them and the armored polar bears, of course. The universe, or universes, of His Dark Materials is a fantasy nerd's dream. The ability to cross dimensions, have a talking animal companion, and tell the future is something we've all dreamed about at one point or another. The show's multiple attempts to reach audiences is also proof that no matter how many times you've been knocked down, you're always going to be able to get back up. So there you have it. Everything you need to know about His Dark Materials on HBO. What is it about His Dark Materials that pulls you in? Is it the characters, the lore, or the science of it all? Let us know in the comments. And for more videos on His Dark Materials and other HBO powerhouses, hit the subscribe button and always keep it locked on Collider.